6 right now on the WHAS 1119. Respect, honor, the tearful goodbye. First responder families from Marion County to Louisville coming together to honor Brian Hatt and his final journey from the hospital back to Loretto, Kentucky. And
we have a budget that we have to follow. That funding comes from the county as well as the state.
The night team is in Hardin County, where another fire department is improving safety by changing its lights. How grant money is making the difference in Sonora. Plus the incredible video of the towering wall of dust sweeping through Phoenix, knocking out power, grounding flights. And that's not all. The dust storm followed by severe thunderstorms. Right now on the WHAS 1119. Happening tonight, first on the night team, the powerful procession tonight from Louisville's University Hospital in downtown to the Holy Cross Church in Loretto, Kentucky. It's the final journey for a Raywick firefighter. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt. 51-year-old Brian Hatt died after a tragic crash on Friday evening and is now heading back home. The show of strength tonight, Hatt's body escorted shortly after 9 o'clock this evening by police, 2 Raywick fire trucks and Louisville EMS joining in fellowship. Hatt was taken back to Loretto in a Marion County ambulance, followed by the 2 Raywick fire trucks filled with Brian's family. This comes after Brian was able to donate all of his organs today at U of L. Late this afternoon, there was an honor walk at University Hospital saluting his exit to make that remarkable donation that will save other lives. WHAS 1119's Alex Dederer and photojournalist Aspen Hester were there for the somber moments in the hospital.
Chris, attention.
An honor walk for Raywick firefighter Brian J. Hatt.
This honor walk is not taken lightly.
On his way to donate his organs, the final sacrifice for a man who lived his life for others.
Brian was family. Brian was a friend. Brian was a father.
He was a lover, would do anything to help anybody, and didn't want anything in return.
His son, Austin Henshaw, and other family members follow close behind.
Dad would be proud.
Firefighters from multiple Kentucky agencies who are more like family line the halls of University Hospital to pay their respects for one of their own.
We are honoring this walk not only just for Brian himself, but for the family.
A solemn reminder of the sacrifice firefighters make every day.
It hasn't felt like reality.
Brian dedicated 12 years of his life to the Army and another 12 years to the fire department before he lost his life after his tanker truck overturned Friday night. Brian and his fellow firefighter, Leonard Winkler, were responding to help with the call in nearby Loretto. We learned on Tuesday that Brian died, while Leonard continues his recovery. 2 days after the tragic accident, the small town of Raywick, Kentucky came together in prayer.
So Raywick is not just a small town. Raywick is family. And in this community, family is everything.
Back on the 9th floor of U of L Hospital, the prayers continue.
You know, it's definitely a blessing.
Surrounded by family, some close relatives.
He might be gone from us, but his memory will live on forever.
And others by choice.
We are asking our communities to continue Brian's legacy and answer the call as Brian would for others.
His legacy will live on with the gift of life. In Louisville, with photojournalist Aspen Hester, Alex Dederer, the WHAS 1119 team on your side.
Again, the procession leaving downtown Louisville tonight, escorting Brian back to Loretto, Kentucky, the hour-and-a-half drive to the church in Loretto. He died in Louisville yesterday after the crash Friday night. His family says arrangements will be announced at a later date. Raywick sits at the center of Marion County, and for many, the town revolves around its fire station. And in this time of mourning, the community stands together in wake of this tragedy. Former Raywick Mayor Charlie Bickett told us today that it wasn't always this way, now calling the station the center of town. Quick to jump when the tones drop, not just in Raywick, but throughout the region. Marion County Sheriff Jimmy Clements has responded to scenes with Lieutenant Brian Hatt and Leonard Winkler for years.
2 good men, 2 very good men doing what they, volunteered to do.
And that's what Hatt and Winkler were doing on Friday evening, responding to help with a call coming in from nearby Loretto. Sheriff Clemens says he's thinking of both families affected, especially one of Hatt's sons, who served as a deputy under him, a legacy of responding anytime that tone went out for the community. Also new tonight from the night team over in Hardin County, a volunteer fire department is one of out of 150 branches that received a $10,000 grant. The fire chief of Sonora, Kentucky says he's surprised and glad that they have more funds to invest into their very important fire engines. WHAS11 night team's Jose Alonso tells us how this grant will be a guiding light during emergencies.
The famous flashing red and white lights we all associate with firefighters heading to an emergency are getting an upgrade in Sonora, Kentucky.
If we take a blocking position on the interstate, those emergency lights will notify drivers before they approach the incident, and they know that they should slow down and yield to the incident.
Fire Chief of the Sonora Fire Department, Robert Wethington, says these halogen lights on their 2 fire engines are outdated. The trucks date back to the early 1990s.
And it's difficult to see at night and especially during the day. So this will provide better illumination of the emergency lighting.
Fire Chief Wethington says there's about 400 Kentuckians that call the small rural city of Sonora their home, and they only respond to about 150 emergency calls a year. But by being first responders, he says there could be more on your plate.
We have a working relationship with the other departments. We have a mutual aid agreement. If they need help, when they need help, they call us, and then we respond to that incident.
Hardin County Emergency and Management Director Joey Scott says volunteer firefighters help in many ways.
They also do medical assist for the community. They assist our EMS services. They get out there in storms, remove debris from roadways.
Wethington applies for multiple grants, hoping to get more funding outside their budget. One shot in the dark he took is paying off.
We received a $10,000 grant from State Farm. The grant was limited to 2,000 applicants, and we were one of 150 departments. And there was only 3 in the state that received this grant.
These fire engines will soon get a facelift, as these old halogen lights will soon match these LED lights on this smaller truck.
Their budget's very small, so that $10,000 can make a huge difference.
These iconic lights will only get brighter for you and firefighters' safety. In Sonora, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
This large grant is part of State Farm's and the National Volunteer Fire Council's Good Neighbor Firefighter Safety Program. Hargett Fire and Rescue in eastern Kentucky and the Lewisport Volunteer Fire Department in western Kentucky were also recipients of the grants. This is the chilly night we've been keeping an eye on, folks. It's Tuesday night's low that is going to be big news for you. And Mallory, I guess if folks have their windows open, tonight would be the night to put an extra blanket on the bed before you go to sleep.
I'd say so, because we're going to wake up to a lot of 40s on the map tomorrow morning, believe it or not. In Louisville, of course, at the airport, that runs a little bit warmer compared to the outlying areas. So we're expecting an overnight low officially right around 54 degrees in Louisville. But once again, those outlying areas, mid to upper 40s possible tomorrow morning. So for your bus stop forecast, a cool start for the kiddos, but by the ride home, very pleasant once again. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Taking a live, quiet look outside over the Ohio from our Bachman Auto Group U of L health camera. Today was another, of course, below normal kind of day. We started off at 56 degrees, topped out at 77. So those temperatures ran 10 to 12 degrees cooler than normal for this time of year. At this point, we have already dropped into the 50s and 60s area wide. And of course, we have several hours to continue to do so. We have clear skies, light winds, and very low humidity. So expect an unseasonably cool night ahead. Your overnight lows, once again, low to mid 50s for Louisville. And then outside of the city, a lot of mid to upper 40s expected by tomorrow morning under mostly clear skies. Now, this fall-like weather, it will continue throughout much of the week. We'll take a look ahead at your Labor Day weekend forecast. That's coming up in just a bit. Doug?
All right, keep on dropping tonight. We love this chilly weather. Thank you so much, Mallory. Well, you know, we have been talking about it a lot lately here on our newscast. Today, was finally detonation day along the Waterston Expressway at Brownsboro Road. Now, we want to take you out there live right now from our live view here at 11 o'clock. Thanks to the Trimark camera focused on this stretch. The construction crews are out there. And let me set the stage for you folks of what you're looking at here live on the right of your screen. That is the traffic heading toward I-71 to go northbound. So they're on the Waterston Expressway now, passing the Brownsboro Road exit there onto the little stretch that takes you to 71. The left side of your screen, these are the folks coming in from downtown Louisville. They are heading toward the Brownsboro Road exit there. So you can see a long night of construction there for those crews. The VA hospital, of course, this is part of the blasting, will also test your patience. They will stop you on the roadway for several minutes until the blasting has cleared. And captured on video, we were out there earlier today for the first day of blasting operations to widen the Waterston near the an incoming VA hospital still under construction. The interchange will also be changing big time. Construction is slowing down drivers, especially when crews need to clear the roads for the blast. Joe Lilly, a longtime employee at Brownsboro Hardware and Paint, calls the construction a mess.
The fact is, everybody's going to have an impact. We've had an impact. I know the restaurants have been hit pretty hard, because if you've got heavy-duty traffic in the morning and afternoon and schools nearby, it's not necessarily a pleasant experience.
KYTC says letters have been sent to homes and different structures within 500 feet of a blast site with information on how to schedule a building inspection. This, of course, follows a situation from October 2022 when crews were blasting at the VA hospital and then rocks flew onto the Waterston Expressway and onto nearby homes, damaging some of them. Other news tonight, Cigna Healthcare is ending its contract with Norton Healthcare in Louisville on September 8th. According to Norton, it tried to reach an agreement but was unsuccessful with Cigna. Norton will still accept patients with Cigna insurance, but a very important qualifier here, that care will be considered out of network for you. Norton and Cigna say they are working together on the next steps for patients who are currently receiving oncology, pediatric, and prenatal care. If you have any questions, by the way, Norton says you need to call Cigna. We put the number on your screen. It is 800-997-1654. Brand new on the night team, Kroger is going to be laying off nearly 1,000 corporate employees, including about 200 in Cincinnati. That, of course, is Kroger's home-based city. The company says it's only touching corporate jobs for now and will be protecting jobs in the grocery stores, manufacturing facilities, and distribution centers. The spokesperson says this move will simplify the Kroger organization, shift resources closer to customers, and focus on value-creating work. And the cuts follow earlier reductions, including about 200 layoffs in its data analytics, amid cost-saving efforts under the post-March leadership. Now, the company says it plans to invest in lower prices, invest in several new stores, and more frontline jobs. And just a reminder before we go to break, we are very excited for a big day on WHAS 11 tomorrow. That's because we're going to bring you an all-day long telethon for Louisville Metro Animal Services here on WHAS 11. From 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., you're going to hear adoption stories, meet dogs and cats ready to find their forever homes, plus learn how you can help LMAS. We're raising money and awareness for the great work the shelter does in our city every day, also hoping that you'll find a new friend. You can watch tomorrow live right here on WHAS 11 in the free WHAS 11 Plus app. On the night team, the towering wall of dust engulfing parts of Phoenix, Arizona, plunging the city into near zero visibility, stopping flights, knocking out power. The incredible video is next.